Oh, como uno da cualquier inflación, cualquier lado.
Let me get it some more coffee.
Thank you. Story you want?
I'm gonna entitle, I know y'all like so quiet. I am sitting in the park. I just had to about to be in the sun right now. Hold up. You gotta move over. But the sun about to come out right here. Right here. Really? Go down. Okay, so my hair may be looking all busted because I just took the thing off. I ain't combed nothing. I tell you, I am going to entitle this video, Will God Be Angry With Me? If I end my marriage, for him. Because my goal, my desire, is not for God to be angry with me for any reason. And not for me to do anything that would trigger his wrath. That's not my desire. I mean, I'm gonna be serious right now. I couldn't say too much because I didn't want to start crying. Me just asking the man for a small coffee, I was afraid he'll be able to detect what I was feeling. So I didn't want to say too much. I had to compose myself, get myself together, and then act. But that is the title of this video. And it's not so much where, I'm I'm searching for an answer, or I'm unsure of the answer. Well, I guess I am unsure, but you know, not so much as a to be answered video, but if you come across this video, you're free to jot your comments, your opinions, your spiritual insights in reference to this video. I have a video entitled, you know, husband story time, whatever it is, however it's entitled. So I'll put this one the same, and I'll put this as part 2. You know, you just get to a place in your life, right, that I will never say give up. And if I use this term in this video, it's not in a aspect, a concept of me wanting to hurt myself, me wanting to kill anybody. No, my faith in God is so strong that I am not feeling this way because I want to do something to someone or myself. I'm feeling this way because it feels like that my work is in vain. Not my life, my work. Because I know in whom I believe and I know in whom I'm serving. So I have no doubts about God. I have no doubts about his son. I have no doubts about anything. That's in reference to him. Man, I should have got some tissue. My doubt is in myself in reference to my spiritual work in reaching souls. This particular soul, the soul of my husband. Now I'm going to give you a little insight on the beginning of my spiritual journey with him. Because I don't think he had one with me and still don't. I married him, got pregnant by him first and married him. It's like I said, I have a video there that speaks on how we met. So I don't have to get into that. He never was a loving and affectionate young man. And it's so crazy that I would be attracted to him in some crazy manner because that's what I crave for. And it's true in reference to opposites attract, because he is totally opposite from me. And I'm totally opposite from him. But when you go into the zodiac, they talk about Scorpios and they talk about Pisces. My philosophy of it is that it's the sexual stuff. You know, it's something that they say that we unite within one another. I don't know whether it's the spiritual inside of us or whatever. I don't know, because I have not experienced it yet. So I can't agree with the zodiac. And usually when I was into that, they usually be on point. But that just goes to show what man think, what astrology think, God may not approve of. So that's why it's important to put our faith and trust in him, because he's in charge of astrology. So upon his decision of getting saved, I was saved first. I got saved first. And I will do a video in the near future, very soon, about how I got saved. and my belief on receiving the Holy Ghost and accepting Christ as your personal Savior. So I'm not going to get into it now, but he did such and I did such. But I did such first. And before it happened, there was an argument, disagreement between me and him within my grandmother's house. We're married now. Been within the marriage for about maybe, let me see. Was Tandra born yet? No, I don't think Tandra was born yet. No, Tandra wasn't born yet. Because he got saved after my son was born. So my son was born March the 5th, 1983. My daughter, by him as well, was born 1984. So within that year's period, or should I say within that time span, we got saved. He was a very, very, I can't say compassionate and I can't say affectionate, because he didn't stay saved long and neither did I. But what I did see of him was that he became more of a husband. So God gave him the traits of a husband because that's what was needed, maybe at that particular time span in our lives. So what do I mean? Before we got married, was a lot of arguing, a lot of fighting. He was very abusive. One day within California, I left New York, went to California. The conclusion of that trip was that this present moment right now, my residence was supposed to be California, in reference to his thoughts and my thoughts. Not so much as a plan, but just the thoughts and what was said and what we did. But, well, before I get to leaving it, being in there, it was a lot of fights. He did a lot of things. He interacted with a lot of women. He did different types of drugs, not crack at the time. Remember, crack came out like in the 80s, 90s. So he wasn't doing crack at that time, but he was doing drugs. And this was before I married him. So I guess you would say, well, there was the signs, why would you marry him if he was abusive and he was non-affectionate and he ain't make you feel no kind of way, like good about yourself? Why would you marry this man? Why did I marry my husband when I was told not to marry him? So I disobeyed a command of the Lord. And I'm gonna throw this in there. So I'm really feeling and thinking this is the reason why I'm staying with him, because maybe I'm trying to make up to God. Let's be point blank about it. I'm trying to make up to God by showing God that I was wrong for disobeying him. But in the same concept, I'm saying that to God, Lord, since I'm doing such a thing in a sense for you, can you do this for me and save him again? And make it all right, because we all know that God makes all things right, We all know that God is in control of everything. I need some tissue. But anyway. And my belief is that he's a soul and God is going to save him. That's my belief. But that belief is changing and it's coming up in this concept. God can do anything and God would save him. Only if that's what he wants. I guess my outlook I ain't going to say I guess. Before, my outlook was God is going to do it. regardless of how he acts, regardless of what he don't acknowledge him, God is going to overlook all that, and God is going to save him because of me, because of who I am. Now, I got so much examples, seen so many examples of how Christianity was presented in the home amongst people, family members, and they never got saved. Some of them got saved, or one of them got saved, and in the long run, they wind up dying without God on their side. And they knew about salvation, and they may have came to God and gave their life to God, but the bottom line is that when they left this life, they had denounced God. They had denounced his son, Jesus Christ. And they began to live their lives from how it was from the beginning, sinful. They went back to that sinful nature. So, I'm seeing all of this. Me, myself, I have children that has been saved and have backslidden on God and have no desire to turn their lives around and come back to church. They don't even come to church anymore. My son, who was saved at a very young age, he backslidden. He lives upstate. I don't know whether he going to church or not. You know what I'm saying? But every now and then I tell him that God is waiting for him. He never say back to me or text back to me, yeah, Mom, I know I'm coming. Just keep praying for me. Nothing in the spiritual realm of pray for me. My other daughter, that's my middle daughter, nothing, she was saved as well. And nothing. No kind of desire, no kind of thought, nothing said to me, no kind of actions that I am at least thinking about this. This may be a lengthy video, but I guess y'all about know me by now. I guess you could say all your videos is lengthy. So I'm hoping that this is of interest to y'all. So now with that being said, as I pose the question and raise the question, or more so a question to myself, a question from my inner being, a question from my soul to God. Would he be angry with me if I denounce my marriage? If I just say I'm done? If I go and file for divorce and just leave? Would he? Now let me just tell you what triggered this. I want to make sure I stay focused on the topic at hand. And even if I go over here, I want to get pieces that will give you better understanding of why I'm feeling this way. Yesterday, the doctor came to see him. He have home visits. He's homebound. He doesn't go out anywhere except to sit out on the step, except to go to the store and buy Tylenol PMs, whatever the case may be, except to smoke a cigarette, to the point where he done start smoking in my house, and he ain't the only one. That really bothers me. You see what I'm saying? It really bothers me, and it brings me back to my grandmother with my father. My father did the same thing in her house. She didn't do too much talking. She didn't too much tell him over and over again that she don't like it. But every now and then the Lord would lead her in there, and I would overhear her. I'm a young girl, because she had me from 3 years old. So I'm a young girl growing up, seeing all of this. Okay. So he always asks me to get him, is it Tylenol? I think it's Tylenol's PM. He just call him PM. So you got Advil PM, you got Tylenol PM, I guess Excedrin PM, anything with a PM to it, right? It's getting kind of windy out here, but it feels good. So he would always ask me, and I would tell him, no, I'm not going to get it. And eventually I would go out and I would get him. He has medicine, right? That he must take. Now, let me throw this in there. He is a diabetic, and he had a stroke. He had 2 strokes. So his left side, he's paralyzed on the left side. He can walk on the right side. He can move. You know, he drags his feet, whatever the case may be, but he can get around, you know what I'm saying? He has the ability, if he needs to cook his food. He has the ability to wash himself. He has all of this, right? Now, there's a mental issue with him. So, I don't know whether I should say this to you guys, but since we're talking it now, I guess it's the time to say it. Because I said it in my other video, but I was saying that I didn't want to talk about it. But I guess this is the right time. He's MR. I'm presuming he has been diagnosed with it from when he was a child or whatever. But after he got his stroke, they gave him a lot of mental medicine. When he came to me 2011, we got back together because we were separated. We got married in 1983. We separated in 1986. So that just goes to show what type of togetherness kind of marriage we had. Nothing. We was more separated than we were together. And even being together for those 3 years was torture. I guess a year of that marriage I was saved. And the other 2 years with him, I was unsaved. So it was a lot of hectic stuff going on, right? A toxic relationship, which started out in California. So, I think I said to y'all already, excuse me if I'm kind of all over the place, but I think I said to y'all already why I stayed with him and why I married him. Before I got married, I was pregnant. So therefore, in my head, I wanted to please God, even at a young age. I did not want to upset him. I did not want to upset my grandmother. I did not want to upset my aunt, which was her sister. So I'm not saying that I married him and did not want to marry him, but in some aspects, I did not want to marry him. And at the very last minute, a month before we got married, or 2 months before we got married, I told him that I did not want to marry him, and I was already pregnant. And my grandmother was saying, you know, I think I told I didn't tell my grandmother. I started dating another guy at the time. And my grandmother saw it. And she said, now Sharon, you know that's not right. You know you ain't supposed to do that. That doesn't look right on you as a woman to be impregnated by one man and going and seeing another man. She didn't so much take it as, you know how some parents have this ego thing, you making me look bad, you making my salvation look bad. She didn't even say all of that. She just said that it doesn't look good on you. Right? So, when you look at it, and as me thinking about it and looking at it now, if I had not married my husband that I am with today and got with that next guy, I have no idea how it would have went. Whether we would have still been together today, I don't know. But let's just foresee this. We came together, right? And let's say I went out with the guy and maybe, you know, I'm not going to say marry him, but maybe let's just throw that in there. We're going to foresee it a little bit. And marry the guy. And I come to church and I got this baby and I got this guy. So now, I didn't commit adultery because me and my children's father was not married at the time. But in my head and what my grandmother was saying, it just bothered me to do such a thing, right? And when I told him that I wasn't going to marry him and I didn't want to see him no more and I didn't want to be bothered with him, I told this to him over the phone sometime in February of 1983. And he got his money together, and his father and mother got the money together very quickly. Not all before, it was slow motion. We couldn't get him there. He waiting for this, he waiting for that. But when I told him I didn't want to be bothered with him, he was here quick, fast, and in a hurry. Once he got here, all things changed. Mind changed, outlook changed. Everything changed. And we got married. So now, forward one into today, and was talking about his MR stage. I don't know whether he was diagnosed with that, but just like I said, he came to New York with all these medicines. I'm not knowing what the medicines is for. The medicines is being prescribed to him, still coming to him, even though he's in New York. California is still sending prescriptions. He's still getting his money. I mean, he's still getting his medicine. He was taking 17 pills. 17 pills. And I could never understand how could that make you feel so happy and make you feel so proud and boost up your ego as a man by taking 17 pills. His story was always, he was so proud to tell the story of how he got the stroke, how he got the stroke, how he did drugs, and how he was a drug dealer, and how big he was on his block, and excuse me. He was just so anxious to tell me all of this about his past life, because all them years that we wasn't together, he wanted to let me know about this. He talked about the girls he was with. He talked about how he would beat the girls and chain them up and lock them up and treat them like dogs and prostitute them to himself, if you understand what I'm saying. Now, mind you, I'm hearing all of this. This is after we married. We coming back together after we were separated. So we separated 1986 and we got back together 2011. 2 years before his daughter, him and my daughter, right? I had to make sure I say it right. So now, coming back to this with the medicine. So now, as time went on, our doctor, my doctor that I had, got connected with him and, talk with him, whatever. Now we talking about his medicine. When he started asking about the medicine, I was in the office and the doctor asked him, well, what kind of medicine it is? Because he didn't get the medicine no more because California stopped sending the prescriptions or however it was at that time. I can't remember, but he did get the medicine. And they stopped doing it, and now he needed the medicine, right? You know how people's addicted to prescription drugs. So the doctor, he's talking to the doctor, and the doctor's telling him, and so she's like saying, well, I need to know the name of the medicine. So the next time we went to the doctor, I took all his medicine bottles and I gave it to her. She said, all right, I'm gonna look over the medicine, and whatever it is that I'm able to give, I will send it to the pharmacist. Or you come pick up the prescription, like that, right? So, because back then they didn't have where they were sending prescriptions to the pharmacy. You had to come pick up your prescription. So when we went back, or I went to find out how it was. No, when we went back to the doctor, she told him in front of me that she could not prescribe all the medicine because a lot of the medicine, the majority of his medicine, besides his diabetes medicine, his etc., was prescribed by a psychiatrist. Once I heard that, he heard it. I saw him look at me. The doctor saw how he looked at me. The doctor looked at me, but neither one of us said anything. There was a little pause, and I guess she was waiting for something to come in there. From me, I guess she was waiting for, oh, wow, really? I didn't even know that, but I didn't say nothing. From him, she was waiting for him to say, oh, yes, that is true. Okay, so can you set me up with a psychiatrist so that I can continue to get this medicine? I'll get another diagnosis if I don't need that medicine anymore. Nothing. I didn't say nothing, he didn't say nothing, and she didn't say nothing. Once the moment of truth came and left, she said, so I can't give you that medicine. Now, if you want a prescription, if you want a referral, I can refer you to a psychiatrist, and then you go from there, and they will give you what you needed. That was it. Once the cat was out the bag and he knew I knew, he ain't want me to be a part of that. He didn't give in to that. I don't know whether it's trust. Maybe he was embarrassed. That's what kept me with him, because I always got this feeling that he was ashamed and embarrassed for his mental condition. And I tried not to use it against him, bring it up to him, say things like that. The only thing, say things negative towards him based on his mental condition. So I would just say, well, Tracy, what are you talking about? Why are you saying that? Etc., etc. But it started getting worse and worse. He would come out his mouth and he would say very hurtful things. And it just hurted. And I would accept it because I would keep saying to myself, I gotta do this because this is what I'm supposed to do. I guess, in other words, this is what I was born for. I'm with this man. I gotta stay with this man. I can't get another man because I'll be going against the Bible. I can't get a divorce because our religion was so against, should I say, my church was so against religion. But when I sit down and think about it, it never was said that we couldn't get a divorce. You see what I'm saying? Now that I'm older and I'm in God, a lot of things, my eyes are opening up and my mind rewinds back to when I was a child, when I got married, etc. And I'm remembering certain things that wasn't said to me that is way out of proportion now. So it never was told to me about not getting a divorce. My grandmother and my aunt, they never got a divorce, and their husbands was very abusive, and their husbands left them. They never got back together. But what happened was that God took them out of this world. So they had the opportunity to marry somebody else, but they never did. They never set eye on nobody. They never looked at no. Well, I ain't gonna say they never looked at nobody, but they never set eye on nobody. I never saw them out on dates or nothing. I never heard no conversation about, my grandmother on the phone with a man while I go to church. Nothing like that, you know. She was a prime example to me, both of them. So that's what's instilled in me, to stick it out. They stuck it out, and God came to their rescue. Me sticking it out, I don't want it to end like theirs. You see what I'm saying? Like theirs end. Their husbands never got saved. You know. So now, to today, I'm going to say this so I can end it. So now, just like he had the medicine, he got the medicine. So his medical center, I guess that's everybody's probably doing that now. You can go on a site and you can see your medical stuff and you can order your prescription. So that's what I did. I ordered his prescription, and he got medicine because he got he got to get out his teeth. And I was working on that, and finally we got that going, where his teeth will be removed. A certain number of teeth will be coming out his mouth. And got him to be able to get dentures as well, right? Upper ones. I was trying to get upper and bottom, but they wouldn't give him the bottom. But that's neither here nor there. I tried to do all I could do for him. I tried to please him. Now, the only thing we're not doing is sex, and that's dead, Fred. Not that I don't get excited, not that I don't want that, but because of where he is at this point of his life, that can't be done. That can't be done. And I'll explain that. That's a video by itself. So, today, I want to get to today. So now, as I said, yesterday the doctor came, did whatever they was going to do. He went to get his shot. He said he got his shot. And I know he had told me he wanted to get the COVID-19 shot, right? I told him it's his choice. He wanted my opinion. I told him my opinion. And then I told him, just like I said, I told him my opinion, and then it's your choice. You do what you want. You're a grown man. So, he went, according to what he said to me, even though he didn't tell me he got the shot, he said that, oh, I got my shot. So I left it like that, because I'm learning him. So he wanted me to say something to him in reference to the shot, due to the fact of our previous conversation. But I left it alone, whatever. So now, when I go in there, I had went out to get coffee. This is yesterday, doctor's in the house. I went out to get coffee, come back in, I hear voices, I go back in the back. I'm presuming it's the doctor and the nurse. No, it's two men, so I'm presuming it's the doctor and his helper, whoever it is, whatever we call the people. And he gonna say to me, did you, how you say that?